So in Massachusetts, he has the same business acumen then that he does now. You know, he'd already had all his experience at Bain. This is from 2003 to 2007. The economy is rocking and rolling, housing market's good, and everything else is just doing gangbusters, and he did not create jobs. He keeps telling us over and over, I know how to create jobs. We already tested him out in the laboratory. It's called Massachusetts. He lowered job creation in Massachusetts. So on that score, he's tested and tried. What is he going to change that he didn't already try in Massachusetts? I don't think he has an answer for that. President Obama has to run the entire country and a campaign. Right now, Romney only has to run a campaign, and he's not doing the best job. So if he has all this savvy business experience, then why is he making one blunder after another? And we need to ask that of our commanders-in-chief, leaders of all types. We look at every decision they make. He had an opportunity at his convention of an hour of primetime TV, reaching millions. It's the most coveted hour that every convention has. And instead of putting his heartwarming biography in front like they always do, he gets Clint Eastwood with a chair. And that's on primetime TV. That's a strategic blunder of political proportions.
I'm supporting Obama because Obama supports veterans. Not since the inception and the creation of the VA and the VA system for veterans after World War II has a president stepped forth and taken responsibility and grabbed the mantle and started actually putting into action not just words, the support of our veterans. The hospitals have been upgraded, the psychology structure and help for PTSD is now widespread. It was non-existent when I got out of the service in '72, and he helps veterans' families, and he helps the veterans. And he really, you know, I feel that it's not just talk. He really cares about the veterans community. He cares about a lot of things. The veterans community happens to be one of them, but he's actually put his words into action. And I am one who will forever be grateful for that.
For them to get back into power would be a big disaster. I have a lot of issues, including the health care bill, even though now I'm on Medicare. Before I went on Medicare, I was in the hospital. I thought I had good health insurance. It was through my employer. I was abandoned by my insurance company. I was left with a hospital bill of $25,000. It was just really a bad scene. I couldn't believe it. And I feel like now that won't happen unless the Republicans repeal Obamacare. And I like calling it Obamacare because Obama cares. And that's a good point. Also, I also had a friend. I own a small business, and I worked with a man who actually died because he didn't have any health insurance. He was, I guess, in his 40s, early 50s, and he owned his house. And rather than leave his wife with no place to live by selling their only asset, he wouldn't save himself, and I thought that was tragic. He was a good man. He did a good business. It shouldn't be that way, not in the United States of America. There, you know, as President Obama says, we are in this together. We're all in it together. And if we can't take care of each other, then what do we stand for? We don't stand for anything if we can't stand for that. That's the Christian way. Take care of each other. Jesus preached that. So how anyone could see it different, I just don't understand.
I work in the health industry. I have been for a long time, and I see firsthand what people go through that have no insurance. You go and you take care of them, and then you see the pain in their faces, and you see the pain in the family's eyes when there's certain kind of procedures that can't be done because the insurance comes back and says, well, we're not going to do this procedure. It is not covered. It is so heartbreaking. You basically are there taking care of them the best you can, but if the insurance company says otherwise, there's just so much limited things you can do. And as far as I'm concerned, I think this president is basically fighting for the middle class. This president is so awesome. I have never been so motivated to be involved in this in this election because I think he is doing everything he can to help the American people. I mean, I've seen the recession, seen people losing their jobs, and those of us that are working, you know, we saw it firsthand how people have been affected by this. And I come from the reservation. I basically grew up on the reservation. I lived in Colorado for 24 years. And, you know, one of the reasons people always ask me, why did you leave the reservation? Because there's no jobs. A lot of us, I refer to myself as an urban Indian, a lot of us live off the reservation because that's where the jobs are, you know. And for the longest time, it seems like being Native American, we always have been invisible. Past presidents, you know, it seemed like you're just kind of in the background, an afterthought, unless all of a sudden, you know, you come in the forefront when there's something huge going on, like a powwow or something. All of a sudden, Native Americans are important, you know, and all of a sudden we become important when we're basically being studied about in colleges and stuff. Oh my gosh, I wonder how the Native Americans live. And then when they meet you in person, they totally have a different perception of you. They think that, you know, you still live in a teepee or you still do things that they read about in books. But in real life, we're just like every other American. We live in houses, we go to school, we have education, we have families. We also believe in the American dream. And I think Barack Obama has made that possible for us 4 years ago. And I don't think his job is done. And I think he's going to continue helping the Native American and helping every single American out there achieve their dream. I believe in him, and I think he's going to do it again, and I'll vote for him 4 more years, Barack!
Yeah, yeah!
To me, the most important issue in this election is helping the middle class, because in my opinion, the economy can only thrive when we have a healthy middle class. I don't believe in this trickle-down economics propaganda. I believe that we have to have a healthy consumer base. And I think that's why the economy is shot now, because everything George W. Bush did 4 years ago, over a period of 8 years, was to help corporations, to help the wealthy, to give them the tax breaks. And the consequence is what we had in 2008 and what we've been living with over the last 4 years. What we need to do is empower the middle class. What we need to do is give the wages back and stop outsourcing the good jobs. And like President Clinton said last night, we've got jobs that are open out there now, but we need to train people and we need to invest in education. And we don't need to cut education like the Republicans are proposing.